Southampton 0, Manchester United 1. And Janusz, Michallik, all the talk in the build-up to this game this week. What performance will we get from Manchester United? Will it be a continuation of the Liverpool one, or will it be something similar to what we saw at the start of the season? They got the 3 points. How do you think they played today?
Okay. Look, I mean, the 3 points is what matters. No questions about that. They were never, ever going to match the performance that they had against Liverpool at Old Trafford, right? That's just very, very difficult to do. And I think unrealistic to think that it's going to happen. I expected maybe a little bit more, but I think they ran into a Southampton side that were very, very good. They asked them questions, right? And I know it's easy to get fixated about Manchester United, but we have to remember that there is an opponent that played well themselves. So it's better to win ugly. And I'm not saying it was absolutely ugly than lose points or lose games. So I think if you're Manchester United, this gives you an opportunity to continue to build on the momentum and integrate the likes of Casemiro and maybe others that will come in the next few days.
And that's the key point as well. We're not expecting anybody right now to go from where they were to playing like Real Madrid when they win the Champions League. It's about getting the 3 points on the board. It's about stopping 7 consecutive away defeats. It's about winning away from home in the Premier League for the first time since the 20th of February. And it's about keeping a clean sheet. It's full of positives today for Erik Ten Hag. He can work on the performance going forward, but his team did what they had to do today.
Well, yes, I think the most important thing that this gives you is it's some time to work on that, and it gives you a positive environment. That was the biggest problem with Manchester United and some of the key players not performing, because it was always about negativity. It was always about the Glazers. It was always about Ronaldo. It was always about Sancho not performing, Rashford not performing. They fixed that a little bit against United. Some of these young players, or the players that we felt had much bigger potential, finally played well, right? Today, at times, I thought Diogo Dalot was positive, right? Going forward, Jadon Sancho from time to time, and the goal itself was beautiful, right? If you really want to look for some more positives, you look at that. So I think a positive environment and couple wins will give you time to forget about the problems that you may have. So Ten Hag and Manchester United will take it. You have to look at it that way. There's absolutely no reason to look at this and say this wasn't the Liverpool performance.
Didn't need to be. It was about getting the 3 points. And what he's done, Ten Hag, he's replaced Ronaldo on the bench, Maguire on the bench. He's now got a steady back two in Martinez and Varane. And he's got legs as well that he might not have had with Ronaldo starting. Does all of that mean, these last 2 results mean right now, going forward and building on this, that Ronaldo is surplus to requirements, and it's even more important for Man United now to get something for him, whether it's a swap with the likes of Osimhen or whoever from Napoli, but can they use this now to get rid of Ronaldo, move him on, get someone else in that's going to help this style of Ten Hag?
Yeah, I think you need to resolve Cristiano Ronaldo's saga. It's sad. It really is, because at this stage, Jorge Mendes seems like is shopping around to anybody who will take him. And there doesn't seem to be that many takers. So that in itself, it's sad, and it doesn't help Ten Hag or Manchester United. If they do get rid of him, I think that's going to be positive in terms of the team, because you don't talk about that. You don't talk about this in the press or anywhere else. If he stays, the question will be, can he be a part-time player? Because I think that's going to be situation, and I don't know if his ego allows that. I really don't know if that's possible. But as I've said, Casemiro, that's a massive presence, even if he doesn't touch the ball. No reason to really talk about his 10 minutes here or not. But if you go forward and you're an opponent, just the fact that Casemiro is there changes the narrative, right? Because you're talking about McTominay, Fred. McTominay, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Controversy. I didn't think he had a great game. Fred, I think there's a certain level that he's not going to go beyond. But together, that gives you options. You have a plan A and plan B, because with Casemiro, all of a sudden you can play Eriksen and Bruno Fernandes. Even if you want to play 4-3-3, like Real Madrid had Toni Kroos and Luka Modric. Maybe not the same. I'm not comparing that, but I think you have an anchor in that midfield that opponents would say, that's not going to be an easy day.
It's pretty clear Man United still need a striker. However, they had Bruno Fernandes, who scored the goal. And it was the type of goal that you used to see Fernandes score at Manchester United, the kind of late arriving run into the box. And people say that him and Ronaldo couldn't play together. Whatever your opinion, I mean, that's subjective. But can Erik ten Hag use that now towards Bruno Fernandes and say, look, we want this team to be built around you, these late runs into the box, getting involved, because he's got so much talent. Can he use that, Ten Hag, to Fernandes to get more goals like he got today?
Well, yes, I think Bruno Fernandes is a bonus, though. I don't think you can go until the end of the season thinking Bruno Fernandes is my goal scorer. I mean,
no.
you still need something. And as good as Rashford was at that number 9 position against Liverpool, today he was very, very quiet, right? It wasn't the type of player that you build the play off of. Anthony Martial's injured again, and that's the story with him throughout the years as well, even though he can contribute, as we've seen on that second goal against Liverpool. So I think that issue still remains. Even if Ronaldo stays, I think that issue still remains. So I would be looking for somebody if I were Manchester United. But the goal in itself was beautiful, absolutely. You know, Elanga, Sancho, Diogo Dalot with that wonderful cross, and a really, really good finish, not an easy one, inside foot out of the air from Bruno Fernandes. So you always take that because managers will remind you that this is the sort of play, the combination play that we want. And remember, Elanga had a similar penetrative run maybe 2 minutes before that. I think it was Bella Kotchap that stopped him. What defending that was. He was one of the best players on the pitch, that's for sure. So I think there are some positives, but there's still issues. And I don't think Ten Hag or Manchester United or their fans are kidding themselves thinking that 2 wins on the trot right now, winning away from home, which is very important, that all of that solves their issues.
Look, we've been saying it all summer, Janusz. This isn't a quick fix, but you can only do what's in front of you. And they've managed to get 6 points from the last 2 games. I want to end with Southampton. I thought they contributed to a very watchable game, and they had their chances in that match as well. Should they have had a penalty, though? Scott McTominay and a potential handball. What did you make of that?
The laws have changed a little bit, right? Because, you know, when you and we always have to look at the tweaks that they bring, you know, now they look at it as a deliberate, right? And, you know, I suppose you could say it was in proximity to the opponent, right? And it was close. It was a little bit of a pinball. But I think if you look at the first one, you know, do you make yourself bigger on the first one? And may not have been deliberate, a little bit of a reflex. But I think when that arm went away, and the fact that McTominay is not looking at the ball, has no idea whether he took a peek, then he was looking at Shea Adams there, and that arm clearly goes out. So for me, that first motion, that first handball, I mean, if you don't give it for that, what do you give it for? The rest, to me, was a pinball, and I don't think he could have adjusted himself. So I think that McTominay and United are lucky there, and you know, you have to remember that these laws are changing a little bit. That's why it's so hard to say, because I still don't think it was deliberate, but the fact that he wasn't looking at the ball and just put that arm so wide, for me, I would have given this a penalty.
But it wasn't given. Southampton didn't get anything from a game they put a lot into, but it's Manchester United. They get their first away win in the Premier League since the 20th of February, and indeed build on their victory over Liverpool.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.